Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Public Infrastructure, Environment, and Sustainability Committee meeting for May 24th. Is there a motion to approve the April 26, 2021 minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? All right, the minutes are approved. I'm going to jump around a little bit today because there's several things that are just super quick, and I want to get people off the phone if they've got other stuff to do. So I'll start with, of course, now people aren't necessarily going to be on the phone waiting. Let's see. Kyle, why don't you go to item 5 on the PM Web continuation?
Certainly, Council President. Thank you. We have 2 items on here, actually. There's 2 different agreements we're briefing today. The one is a continuation of a professional services agreement with PM Web to continue building out the software and a few of the kind of next level iterations we need so that we can make auditable reports and clean up a few things that we've learned throughout the way. And we also want to launch, we're hoping to launch electronic procurement next year, which would be within the system that we're very excited about getting out there. So there's some upgrade support. This would be for 18 months would be the duration of this agreement. And part of that cost would be shared by Spokane County, which is the other agreement that is on the docket for today. So that is an interlocal agreement with Spokane County for the shared use of our PM Web software. So this program management software that we've been developing over the last summer, Spokane County's Construction Management Division, and as well as their kind of counterparts in what would be integrated capital and engineering here, they started test driving the software and took a look at what we've been developing over the last several years, and we're very, very excited about it. So we're developing a partnership agreement with them. It's all been cleared through the contract with the software vendor. So the county themselves would actually be a party to our license with the vendor. They would share in all of the baseline hosting costs and server costs. They would directly pay for all of their own licenses. So that's easily separated out. And what's also really great is they're sharing in the cost for any of the software development throughout the way. So that other agreement we're talking about, they'll actually share in that too. So really cool win. They're very excited about it, and really pretty neat for our contracting community as well, because they're going to get to work with both municipalities all under the same software system, and hopefully we're just going to get better and better aligned in how we all manage and pay for work.
All right, thanks for briefing those 2 items. Does anyone have any questions for Kyle? All right, makes a lot of sense. I'd like to go to item number 2 under staff requests, special budget ordinance for Envision Center, lease costs and lease extension. And looks like we have Tanya Wallace here to kick that off, and some folks from the Workforce Development Council.
Yes, thank you, City Council. The mayor has asked that we rush this on for your consideration. The city currently leases space for the Workforce Council for the Envision Center, and that lease is due to expire May 31st. This is a critical program, particularly post-COVID. It's going to be a critical program to continue. And so we are currently negotiating with the county to assume that lease, and we are respectfully requesting that we do a 3-month extension while those negotiations are going on. So that will carry us through the end of August. In addition, we also need to provide some funding. The city has actually provided this funding through different means up until this time when this first became a pilot in 2018. Now we have the opportunity to negotiate for a 3-way match while this critical program continues to get its legs underneath it and makes it a really successful program for our community. And with a 3-way match, we're asking for funding appropriation through the remainder of the year. Again, as that negotiation and that agreement is being worked out. So you also have in front of you an SBO. Very quickly, so that you understand what the SBO does, that special budget ordinance. It provides the full appropriation or the appropriation for the full lease amount for the 3 months of our extension, and that includes our contribution. And then after that, it is only our contribution, our portion of the payment through December. During these initial first 3 months, other contributors, Workforce Center and the county, will reimburse us for about 60% of those costs. So with that, I'll stand for any questions, but I do want to give Dawn Carver a little bit of an opportunity to really brief all of you on where they are on this program. So questions, or turn right over to Dawn Carver. Council President, I'll turn it to you.
So just to clarify, right now, I think from December through May, the city hasn't been paying anything, but the lease is in our name. And then for the next 3 months, we're going to pay half, and then after that, it would be 1/3. Is that a fair summary?
Council President, that is not what the SBO is set up for. Okay. My only understanding was 1/3 was being negotiated, so that is how that is set up.
All right. So I'll leave out the half for the next 3 months. It would be 1/3 from going forward to the end of the year.
Correct.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I think I saw Dawn there. If you want to share, we don't have a lot of time right now, Dawn. I am going to invite you back. You gave us a great presentation last fall, but people have become way more interested in this since then. And so we will invite you back for a longer presentation. But if you want to just give us an update on all the moving pieces and how you envision things going for the rest of the year and then into the future as far as funding goes.
Thank you, Council President. Can you hear me just fine?
Yep.
Great. Understanding we're limited on time, thank you all for considering a match with the city, or excuse me, a three-way match with the city, the county, and the Spokane Workforce Council. A few quick updates. We are serving quite a number of customers. We've seen an uptick since the pandemic began. We have 18 agencies partnered at the Spokane Resource Center. We're ready to open for business fully on June 7th. We have received about $7.4 million in grant funding. However, that money cannot be used to support operations, which is why we're doing a three-way partnership, if you agree. And we've served 7,000 customers since we opened. So thank you for your continued partnership, and we're happy to come back and present.
And I was just going to ask if anyone has questions for Dawn, and I see Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, thank you. I guess I'm just wondering, could you talk about just percentage of successes, folks that you've actually connected to services over either year to date or through 2020, and also just how you are servicing those individuals. I went out there on a Tuesday at 1:30 and the place was locked up tight. So I'm just kind of curious how you guys are interacting with your clientele.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I'll answer your second question first. So it is unfortunate the Spokane Resource Center is located on the second floor of a building. So if you went to the first floor, that first floor is leased by Employment Security. However, we do have staff members who will go downstairs from the Resource Center and bring customers upstairs. We have not experienced troubles with this. If you hear of any, please let us know. And again, we will be fully open. The building will be fully open on June 7th, so customers will be able to access us. As far as successes, it really depends on the specific program. So we have access to mental health programs, for example, housing programs, rent and utilities. So it really does depend on which program, but I'm happy to provide you all the data that we have access to. And then we can talk about that maybe during our next presentation, if that works.
Yeah, I would love to get that data. And again, we called every number on every sign in the windows, and every sign said to go to some other agency. There was no indication that there was anybody in that building at all when we were there.
Thank you for the comment. After I spoke to your assistant, we have updated the signage, and I believe that issue has been taken care of. And I have been there personally on site. Today's the first day that I'm not there. If we experience any troubles, I will go right back over there and work from that office.
Councilmember Stratton and then Councilmember Kinnear.
I just wanted to say a thank you to Dawn because they're doing some great work over there. And just Councilmember Cathcart, for an example, I had a constituent who was just literally having a very hard time trying to find work during a pandemic, trying to pay rent. So not only did I connect him with Dawn and her staff, they were able, because he didn't have a computer, to complete online job applications and do his resume. They loaned him a computer. He was able to do that. He is now working. But I've spent time over there, and luckily when I've been there, people have been there seeking services. And I've been very, very impressed with not only just the day-to-day, what they do for people, but the fact that they really care about the individuals that they work with every day. And I've seen it, and I appreciate it. So keep up the good work, Dawn. I know this has been challenging.
Thank you. Yes, we were happy to deliver that person a computer to his house.
All right. Councilmember Kinnear.
Thanks. And I want to echo both of you, Stratton and Cathcart. I know that individuals have had good luck there and good success. And I, too, would like to see some real hard metrics data on you've served X number, 7,000 people. How many of those people went on to get jobs or to find homes or whatever the issue is that they have? Those are the numbers that I would like to see as well. I know there are people that are being helped. It would be so much easier to be able to champion this program if we have that hard data. So thank you, Dawn. I appreciate the hard work that you do.
Thank you, Councilmember, for that feedback. We are purchasing a database. I do want you to all know we had been told we were going to have access to the HMIS system, which did not occur. So the Spokane Workforce Council is purchasing a database. We have several databases that we have access to, but we want to be able to provide you the data that you're looking for at the push of a button. And that is our goal, and that's what we'll be doing going forward.
Great. Thanks. Councilmember Wilkerson.
Thank you. And thank you, Dawn. So I know this started out as a pilot project 2 years ago, and the funding went away. And I can support, because of the pandemic, those additional resources going forward. But what is the commitment from the other 18 agencies that you partner with towards funding support? And I know the models have been changed for outreach into the community. So will you still be continuing to need a facility that large if you're doing outreach and trying to be in the community where the people are located?
Great question, Councilmember. Thank you. So our plan is to take the next year to really see what the foot traffic looks like, or if customers really are preferring a virtual or hybrid model. I don't know that we're going to know that until we get through this next year with everything changing. We certainly never want to leave space that we do not need. We fully support giving part of that space up if we find that there's not a need for that. So our plan right now is to take the next year and really evaluate what services look like since everything has changed during the pandemic.
And again, clarity, this SBO is for funding through the end of the year. Nothing going forward from that point at this time.
That is correct, Councilmember. As you know, we cannot commit a future council, so we will be evaluating resources going in for 2022 and what that looks like. And of course, the financial situation and landscape looks very different now than it did pre-COVID. But at this time, this only goes through December until we negotiate, and it's 1 year at a time.
All right. Thank you very much, Dawn, and I saw Mark on the line as well for all that you're doing. We look forward to having you back and getting more of the metrics. I thought it was interesting in the Inlander story, everyone acknowledged all the work you're doing and that you need to do a better job of trumpeting your success, which I'm sure you'll be focused on. But you've got the basics down very well, and I'm looking forward to that. And I think there are some really positive funding ideas. And now that the county is sharing in it, and actually, I mean, you've been sharing in it the last year on the rent, but now that that's there, I think it's going to be a lot easier to make it work. So thank you so much, and we'll move on to, I wanted to go to item number 3. Raylene, you were going to make a presentation on renaming the tertiary treatment facility after Mike Taylor.
Awesome. Thank you, Council President. This is a resolution for the renaming of the NLP building in the name of Mike Taylor. I did the presentation last month and wanted to do this resolution to put this in works so that the name of the building will be the Taylor Tertiary Treatment Facility. And it's in honor of Mike and all he did, the work he did for the city and the citizens.
All right. Yeah, we're really excited to support this. Thanks for bringing it forward. I also just wanted to mention item 1. I told the police department we could get it on our agenda so that we have a touch. It's really them just notifying us they want to apply for a grant program that supports police officer wellness. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer to just apply for it, but we want to honor our process and making sure that we're doing that. The deadline is before our next committee meeting, so I'll check that off. And then I am going to go to back up to council requests to Shauna Harshman on recommendations for updating our Citizens Transportation Advisory Board ordinance.
Thank you, Council President and members of City Council. I'm going to share my screen and share just a few slides with you on the update to the Transportation Benefit District, or TBD, ordinance, and the inclusion of some changes to the Citizens Transportation Advisory Board as well. All right, are we seeing the introductory slide? Perfect, thank you.
Yes.
So, a high level, we wanted to accomplish several things with updating the code around the Transportation Benefit District. The first thing that we needed to do was to update the plan references. In the code, we were referring to a specific 6-year comprehensive street plan, and we were also referring to that street plan in relationship to other plans that the TBD works within, and some of those names had changed. So we wanted to make sure we were all lined out there. The second goal was to remove the dates from the code to minimize our need to provide ongoing updates to the Spokane Municipal Code. We also wanted to take a look at using performance outcomes to accomplish our TBD goals. I'll explain that a little bit more here in a moment. We had some conflicting resolutions that spelled out different terms of service between either a 1-year or a 3-year term for our citizen volunteers, so we wanted to get that cleaned up. And if we were doing all of that other work, it was also an opportune time to take a look at increasing the diversity of the perspectives on our Citizens Transportation Advisory Board as well. So we've tackled that, and then finally, we just provided a little more clarity to the duties and functions of this group as a recommending body to the City Council, who acts as the Transportation Benefit District Board. So I'm not going to give you a bunch of slides heavy in code like this, gave you the overview there, but for what I'm talking about with the removal of dates from code, I thought this provided a good example for you to just take a look at really quickly, that we had referenced a specific 2018 to 2023 six-year comprehensive street program. And what that did to the CTAB and the work of the TBD is really confine the ability to look at projects that were in that six-year plan. And as we all know, those plans are updated annually, and those out years 4 to 6, we do see some change. And we couldn't really be responsive to that with Transportation Benefit District projects when we had spelled out very specifically that we would only look at that specific six-year plan. So I'm proposing to move to a system where we say that we will look at the most recently adopted version of that plan. The second thing that we were trying to correct here is that last year, the pavement maintenance program was actually pulled out as a separate document from the six-year comprehensive street program. So we wanted to make sure that we referenced each of the specific plans that this group pulls projects from in making their recommendations for residential street maintenance to City Council. So the next change, which is a marked change from the previous approach, is to identify a clear goal for the Transportation Benefit District, which has been working in improving residential pavement conditions, as well as a couple of other types of projects in the residential realm, so to speak. And so to move to a system that says the Transportation Benefit District will have achieved its goal when we have an average pavement condition rating of 80 within the residential street system, or no streets fall below a rating of 25, which would be a failing system or a failing street within the system. In moving to this sort of a system, every year in our annual report, it would be really easy to measure our progress and see how far we're moving that dial on the residential pavement condition each and every year towards that goal of an average index of 80. The other part of this moves away from the TBD performance into taking a look at the codifying the Citizens Transportation Advisory Board as many of the other boards and commissions within the city are. And so what I just wanted to show you high level here is that the proposal is to expand this advisory body from one representative for each of the council districts to 2 representatives from each council district, with 1 member at large still appointed from the council president, and then expanding that board membership with 1 additional voting member that would be a representative of the Human Rights Commission, and then expanding up to 5 additional non-voting liaison members to gather broader public perspectives to include but not limited to representatives from the health district, public schools, as well as the disability committee. The idea of bringing more voices into the prioritization work that's happening in our residential neighborhoods. And the final changes were to clarify the residential projects funded and prioritized in the Transportation Benefit District here. And the distinction here is just that there are 2 different funding streams, one from the Transportation Benefit District, PAR tab $20 fees, and another from the Streets Department General Fund, where both of these pots of money come into the work that is prioritized by the Citizens Transportation Advisory Board. And so this references that entire body of work and provides some further refined detail on what the annual report for this group includes. Those are the high-level, quick overview to brief you on this TBD and CTAP ordinance update, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you all may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Shauna. Any questions from council members? Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, Shauna, how realistic is it that we're going to get to a point where our average street rating is 80 and no streets are below 25? Is that something that's going to occur in the near term, or is that more way down the road that we get to that point?
Perfect question. Thank you for that. It is a realistic long-term goal. And when we were looking at some of those numbers, Chris Cafaro had done some initial kind of off-the-cuff calculations, and that would line up with a 20 to 30-year plan for the Transportation Benefit District. So not so far as to be outside of the realm of our lifetime, but this, with the amount of funding that we have, this also isn't a 5 or 10-year plan on the other hand.
Realistically, to accomplish this in, say, the next 10 years, we'll have to find some other revenue to do additional projects to make that happen.
That's one of the pieces. We would have to find the additional revenue. The second piece seems to be that right now our streets department is really quite right-sized for the amount of residential street maintenance and arterial street maintenance that we engage in. So while we would need additional financial resources, Councilmember, I think that we would also have to look at what that means for our staffing levels as well and resource that.
And Councilmember and everyone else, I was just going to add, City Legal said we had to have a definitive endpoint. So the question was, do we just set a date out there, or do we set the standard? And we thought by setting the standard, that would better align us towards the work. So.
Great point. Thank you.
Other questions, comments? All right, I'm super excited. Yeah.
I was just going to comment, Council President, that citizens are still struggling with our street maintenance program. And when Shauna Harshman showed me the number of streets that are in disrepair, which I hope she'll come to us at some point and share that so the citizens understand, because there is a high level of frustration amongst our citizens in this process that can be very confusing when you don't live it every day, as to my street is unpaved or it feels like a war zone. Why can't you come and do something about it? So I think we have to do a better job of educating our citizens what's going on, and really, if we're asking for their input, as with anything, are we taking it? So thank you.
Yep, great point. Anyone who's out knocking on doors this time of year, that is what they're gonna hear, and so that I really think that's true. I was just talking to someone recently, and I mentioned that there's kind of two pieces of it. One is making sure there's more transparency and public engagement about what our priorities are of the limited funds that we have. And so starting last year, Council insisted, and administration has been responsive this year. We're going to hear a report from Kevin Picanza later about how to get the word out and allow community members to participate in the prioritization. And one thing I like about this proposal is it essentially doubles the amount of community members who are part of that, and they're tied to both geographic locations in the city and also interest groups. And so I think that will help people understand how to get their street higher on the priority if it meets the metrics. And then the second piece is several of us, including Councilmember Cathcart and I, have been talking about, after we're recovered from COVID, can we figure out some new revenues for it? Because we don't want to wait 20 years to get there. So that will be the second, is figuring out how to put a package together that voters would endorse to get them the streets that they want. So this should help us in that. All right, thank you, Shauna. And then I had flipped over the second page while we were hearing from him and saw a couple other smaller items that I wanted to take care of. One is item number 10, CDBG CV Emergency Housing Assistance Funding recommendation from George Dahl. If you're there, George.
Yeah, hi everyone. So today briefing is with regards to a RFP that we put out for some CDBG CV COVID-specific rental assistance. The CHHS Board, Community Housing Human Services Board, met, evaluated the different applications that were received and to City Council for funding in full Better Help Together at $2 million. The goal of this funding will be to assist folks that have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic with a particular emphasis on BIPOC communities.
Okay. And what's the model for the assistance?
So help me understand that a little better.
Well, like how, is it just cash assistance? Is it trying to put housing together? Is it education, all the above?
Yeah, so it's specifically rental, mortgage, and utility assistance for folks either in arrears or current and future payments.
Great. That answers that question. Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, so I know there's some other dollars for utility and not a lot for mortgage. In fact, I don't think there's any really for mortgage assistance. So is that going to be the priority, the mortgage assistance over utilities?
Yeah, we're working with Better Help Together on that to really kind of sharpen the need there, because that's a need that we've heard through the community in our engagement is that there's not a lot of assistance out there for folks that need mortgage help. And there's so much bandwidth that goes into getting a low to moderate income individual into single family housing, so we want to make sure we're prioritizing and keeping those folks stably housed.
Absolutely. And I know there's been some conversations with Cupid Alexander around, could we set up some sort of revolving fund to help with mortgage assistance? But anything we can do on that front, because there really just are not dedicated dollars coming down for that. So I think it'd be great if that's the priority.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, George and the team, and looking forward to getting these dollars out in the community. I had another smaller matter, electric charging station infrastructure master site agreement with Avista. And I have Tanya Wallace and Dave Steele. I know you all have been working on this for a while. We're kind of going through the legal grinder on it, but what's the status?
Thank you, council members. Yes, as you've stated, Council President Beggs, we've been working for about 2 months overall with Avista on this master contract, and I'm really going to turn it over now to Dave Steele, who's been much more in depth on this, and let him tell you just a little bit about what it is and what it does. Thank you.
Good afternoon, council members. So I've got a very quick little PowerPoint to go along with this. So the master agreement, just to kind of give us a master site agreement, to give us a little bit of background, that defines the relationship between the City of Spokane and Avista for current and future charging station installations. These kind of agreements are very common with longstanding partnerships. They provide clarity of responsibilities with regards to the subject of the agreement. So for this, I mean, for the city, it really just sets the structure of the various costs associated with the installation of new charging stations. Avista, per the agreement, Avista will purchase the charging stations that go in. Avista will be paying half of the cost, up to a maximum of $2,000 per charging port. So some of these, you can put in a single port charger or you can put in a 2-port charger. So depending on which one you put in, it could be up to $4,000 per station. But that's on Avista's piece. Now, there's a list of sites that have been identified as part of the grant dollars that are also available. these will be 100% fully covered. And these are sites, this is the list that I saw associated with the grant dollars. So the water department at Foothills, wastewater treatment plant, wastewater management out on East Sprague, waste to energy plant, the central service center at Nelson, and the streets building at Nelson. And then this agreement also lays out the ongoing responsibilities for maintenance and repair, and then the city's provision of access to the equipment. So it's a pretty straightforward agreement. We need to be aware that for projects that are not on this list, there is that $2,000 per port maximum that Avista will be bringing to the table, and that the city will be responsible for dollars on top of that. A great example of that would be the parking facilities. They are looking at, I believe, 5 EVs coming in. So they would be putting in charges. Well, they're not on this list. So Avista would be bringing $2,000 per charging port to that site, and then the city will then have to pick up the difference. So that's kind of where we're at. We're ready to bring this forward. I believe we have a final draft version that we'll be bringing forward at the next regular council briefing.
And Dave, can you
Any
give?
questions?
I had a question for you. Can you give us just ballpark on installation for a 2-port charger? I know it depends on what kind of charger you're using, but the kind of chargers we're imagining at, say, parking services next to the intermodal, what's the ballpark cost of installation?
It gets pretty squirrely very quickly because the cost of the installation, since Avista is paying for the charger, that cost is kind of not a concern to us. Now, to run power out there, to bring a sufficient level of power with an eye towards the future, I think we could be looking at in that $25,000 to $35,000 range to get all 5 of those stations. Just getting the power and the infrastructure to them, getting them set up. So it's a long-term perspective is really what we're looking at. If we choose to downsize wiring, downsize conduit, those kind of things, can we save some dollars? Yes. Is that wise in the light of where we're trying to go as a city? Probably not. So making those investments now and then recouping those investments in the future.
So it sounds like the main variable is how far you have to string power to on cost?
Yes.
Okay.
And what kind of digging, trenching, cutting,
right.
What kind of concrete work you've got associated with it.
Okay, got it. Thanks for doing that. Any other questions on that? All right, now we'll just kind of go down the agenda in order. So next up is Retail Water Service Area Amendment. Eldon and Elizabeth is our we've had versions of this presentation, but I asked them to do it again because it's been so long, people have forgotten the individual projects. And I asked them to focus mostly on the projects that are outside the urban growth area, because I think that's where the potential friction points are, not so much in the urban growth. So I'm not sure which of you is going to go first.
I'm going to go first. Thank you, Council President. I appreciate that introduction. I'm going to start because I just want to kind of give everybody, since it's been a while since we've talked about this, a framework or a quick overview of how the city and how staff have gone through the evaluation process for the request for the expansion of the retail water service boundaries. The rules are and Eldon's going to pull up the map and the current application list as I'm talking. So let's not let that, I hope that doesn't distract anybody, but just providing the basic framework. The framework for this is found in state law and in city policy. And the city of Spokane is designated as a regional water purveyor or regional water supplier under state law, and we provide water service both inside the city's boundaries and outside the city's boundaries. And under state law, we have a duty to provide service within our service area boundaries. So state law sets out a number of elements that the city considers when evaluating water service extensions and water service outside of the boundaries or outside of retail service areas. And then in order to avoid subjective or arbitrary and capricious allegations, the city adopted an administrative or a public rule policy for water service back in 2016. And that policy incorporates the elements under state law and also incorporates the case law and the court decisions to date as additional consideration points and interpretation. So just briefly, the four basic elements, and you can see they're kind of outlined on the top of that blue sheet to the right of your screen. Four basic elements are whether or not the city has sufficient water rights in order to take on the additional water service, whether or not the city has adequate infrastructure or system capacity to be able to serve water in a safe and reliable manner, as determined by the department, whether or not that water service can be served timely and reasonably, and whether or not it's consistent with local comprehensive planning documents for property location. The city also has, so when we're looking at the fourth element, which is the consistency with the local comprehensive planning documents, the city itself has the Spokane comprehensive plan. And in our comprehensive plan, we have CFU 3.6, which allows for the city to serve water outside the UGA in certain circumstances. And Eldon's going to walk through these, since we're going to focus on the outside UGA applications or extension requests. Eldon's going to walk through the individual, I think there's 4 of them that are outside that. The goal of what this framework that's been developed over the years is basically to avoid challenges and to assist the city in making consistent decisions for water service. Is that any questions at this point? Let's see a thumbs up. Okay. Let Eldon take it from here.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Good afternoon, Council President and Council. I will focus on the 4 applications that are outside the actual urban growth boundary. All of them are within the retail, or excuse me, all of them are in the future service boundary, but none of these 11 applications are in the retail water service boundary. Anyway, I will focus on the 4 that are outside the urban growth boundary. First one we have here is 3 parcels just south of 37th on the east side of Glen Rose Road out there. This application would like to actually extend water service. You can actually see the water main just south of the site. It's about 100 feet south of the first parcel on there. And what they're trying to do with this actual application is provide public parks and recreation services to a facility they want to build in the county. You can kind of see in the yellow out there, it is outside the urban growth boundary. The blue is actually the future water service boundary, and the green is the retail water service boundary. So they are outside the green, are outside the yellow. And this application would like to, like I say, provide public parks and recreation services. We took a look at this thing, and immediately when they're outside the urban growth boundary, we go to the capital facilities and utilities plan and the comp plan, which is CFU 3.6. We did find a category in this one, which is CFU 3.6 B2C on there, and what this is actually all about, and I'll just read that actual element of 3.6. It says the main may supply services to premises used to provide public services typically provided by government-owned facilities, which are allowed outside a UGA. A public service may include, but is not limited to, law enforcement, fire protection, public utilities, schools, libraries, parks and recreation services. So that one meets one of the elements of CFU 3.6. And so that's why we're in here recommending approval of this actual application be included in the retail water service boundary. Be happy to answer any questions on that one.
And if you have questions, because we've got the whole screen up, you're just going to have to volunteer them. But any questions for Eldon?
Yes, Eldon, this is Lori. I have a question. When you said they were parks and recreation, they're not public parks and recreation. It's a private entity. Is that correct?
It's for public parks and recreation services. It is a private entity building it.
That's right. It's not a. It is not a public entity that's building it. It is private. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Eldon, on the map, is the yellow the UGA? What's the UGA boundary?
Yep, the yellow is the UGA.
Okay.
Any other questions on that one? I'll move on to the second one. This one here is a 5-acre parcel up on 5 Mile Prairie, up in here. Again, you can see the yellow. The nearest yellow we have is clear up the top of the screen, so it's well outside the urban growth boundary. It is right adjacent to the retail water service boundary in green, but it is in blue, which is the future water service boundary. Little history on this one is this was originally a 5-acre parcel. And this little notch that you can kind of see right on the southeast corner of the purple was a portion of the site that the city purchased from this applicant several years back, put a water booster station on that site for pumping into the new Kemp water tank that's been in service for several years now on 5 Mile Prairie. But anyway, when that was purchased by the city, that little notch in there, it was with the understanding with the property owners on there that within the future, they certainly could tie into our existing water main, which is a 24-inch transmission main in front of that site. This is 5 Mile Road. They're in 5 Mile Prairie. And so the applicant is simply coming back in now requesting a service connection to build one house on this 5-acre parcel, or the remainder of it from what used to be a 5-acre parcel. So all they would be doing is actually running the service connection into that site. We took a good look at this one. You move back over to our...
Eldon, are there...
Go ahead.
Eldon, are there other users connected to that water main? City paying users?
Yep, there is. So anyway,
Eldon, I got a question for you too.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned a couple times the blue is the future water service retail area. I'm not saying it exactly. Is that in our plan that we've identified that, or is that just a working assumption? I'm just wondering.
No, that is in our future water service boundary.
Okay.
That exists.
Okay. Thanks.
I kind of see what mentioned that on there. We've got green almost surrounding that whole site, even though this is all outside the GA. Mm-hmm. We've had so many prior commitments in the past. This is almost like a hole in the middle of our green out there that we should somehow clean up, because this is surrounded by our retail water service boundary, even though it's outside the UGA.
Right.
But it's just something we kind of need to look at so we're down the line. But looking at this particular application, again, we went to the policy CFU 3.6, and under 3.6B, 1B on there, I'll just read this one. Connections may be allowed to parcels directly adjacent to a main if the parcel existed and the main was installed prior to May 31, 2001. Well, this thing is directly adjacent to Maine out there, and that main was actually installed in May of actually 2000, so it meets the criteria for that portion of the statement. So again, we would recommend approval of this one be included in the boundary. It meets one of the elements of our comp plan to allow service when you're outside the UGA. So anyway, I'd be happy to answer any questions on that one.
Eldon, I have a question. This is Lori.
Yeah.
The applicant is, you said, wants to put a single-family home on that. Is that correct?
Yes.
But they're not required. So if water is granted to them, they're not required to stick to that plan. Is that correct?
That's about all they can really build on. Let's put it that way. Since it is outside the UGA, I think it's got 1 unit per 5 acres, so they couldn't really build anything else.
Isn't it one house per 5 acre? Is it one house for 20 acres, the one for 5? I don't remember.
In this particular instance, it's 1 for 5.
Okay.
But there again, they would not come in and actually get a water service connection unless they were actually putting that house up. They're simply just requesting that service connection when they build a house on it.
But it's my understanding that just because they say they're going to build X, Y, or Z, there's no requirement for them to do so.
No.
Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay, the third one. It's another site up on 5 Mile Prairie. This is a Kemp water tank we were just talking about up on 5 Mile Prairie. You can kind of see West Bellevue Drive to the east. 5 Mile Road is to the east of our map on here. This is park property just on the north side of this particular 10-acre parcel. What they have on this one is a bee farm and a livestock farm. I think they actually purchased the property back in 2015, and they basically have tried a lot of things to get water service. They actually tried to work with the Bellevue Water District on 5 Mile along in Whitworth, which is somewhat to the east, and could not get any water service from either of those two entities. And they also tried to drill a well on that site. They went 200 and some feet down and didn't hit any water. So they're now here to the city of Spokane to see if they can get a service connection from there to tie into this water main that goes into that reservoir site. They did get solicit a letter from the Department of Health on here, and the Department of Health did write us a letter requesting that a service connection be granted based on the health and safety of basically the workers working on that site and just for the activities of the farm. We're trying to water bees and try to water livestock, and the employees that are there, they thought it was a safety consideration that they be granted a service connection. So that's primarily what's going on. These property owners today actually haul water from, I don't remember where their house is inside the city limits, but they have to haul water almost daily, I think, up to the site up there in containers that actually provide water service today to that site. So they did get a letter from the Department of Health supporting this connection. We do have an element in the comp plan that actually addresses this one also. It's 3.6B2A. What it says is the Spokane Regional Health District or Washington State Department of Health has determined that an existing development poses an immediate threat to public health or safety. That's the element we're citing on this one to support providing a water connection to this site. So be happy to answer any questions on that one. Anybody have any questions on that one? I'll move on to the last one. Okay, this one here is another site on 5 Mile Prairie. And you see West Hawthorne Road just to the west. And it actually dead ends right into this. This is a 14.5-acre parcel on there. So we do have utilities in Hawthorne Road that come right up to that site. This applicant basically wants to build one house on this particular site. And again, now this one is right adjacent to the actual yellow. You can kind of see it's kind of somewhat clouded with a green in there, but that is yellow right adjacent to this boundary, which is the urban growth boundary, parallels that western boundary of this site. And so what this applicant wants to do is purely come in there and build one house on 14.5 acres and tie into the existing water main. It's right adjacent to that site. And I'm neglected to mention, but all of these 4 parcels we're talking about did comply with all of our availability, sufficient water rights, sufficient capacity to serve. The one they failed on were consistent with the requirements of local plans and regulations, which is why we're talking about CFU 3.6 on each one of these. So in this particular site, when we go to the CFU 3.6, it just has, if the site is adjacent to a main located along the UGA boundary, this thing does have a water main. The UGA boundary is adjacent to the site, and there is a water main that comes right into that site. It complies with that element of CFU 3.6. So that's purely what the applicant wants to do on this one, is build one house on those, on that 14.5 acre site. So again, be happy to answer any questions on that one. Yeah.
Hey, Eldon, can I ask a broader question? In any of these projects, is there going to be any cost to the city in terms of infrastructure, or will those costs all be borne by the developers?
They will all be borne by the developers.
Okay, thank you.
Extensions of any water mains or service connections, they would all be done by the developers. Any other questions?
Oh, I was just going to say, but Eldon, to the degree that we have to build a new tank or something like that, that's not included in it, right?
No.
Hey, Eldon, it's Karen. I have a question.
Yeah.
So help me understand. I'm just going to use this last one as an example. So it's a 14-acre parcel, and they're going to build one house. So let's say that's me, and I'm asking for this. I want to tie into the existing water main for my house on 14 acres. We say yes, and then I change my mind, and I want to build 2 houses. Can I do that, or does that have to go through a process?
Typically, it would go through a process on your, like right now, it's one parcel. I think that's in the, trying to remember what the actual zoning was in the county, but they would certainly have to go through the county process to subdivide properties when they
right.
City gets
I could do that, right?
Yeah, although I think it's probably still in the 5-acre parcel range, so you could get up to potentially a couple of houses on that one.
Okay. Thanks.
But they would have to go through that process, and the city there again would actually have to comment on the land use action on there, which would get us into the same discussion we got going here. Unless we approve
that second house, they'd have to come back for a discussion to say, we're going to put a second house on here. We want to go through the same process, right?
Well, they have to go through the whole process of actually platting that in a short plat in the county. So we would have a chance to certainly comment on the whole process once they did that. So we would be
and
approving.
If I can jump in for.
Excuse me, go ahead.
Sorry, Alvin. If I can jump in, the planning process would include a water evaluation if they change the use of the property.
Yes, the one thing that I would just make clear, that was a good question there just a minute ago, Councilmember Stratton. Once we approve this boundary on here, they could come in there and actually short plat that thing because we've approved the whole boundary, but the city still gets a chance to comment on what it takes to actually provide water service to those 2 parcels. So we still have an opportunity to truly get into that. But just want to be clear on that particular nuance there.
But Eldon, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Lori, when you say change the use, you mean change the use from housing to something else. You don't mean change the use from 1 house to 6 houses, right?
Well, it's still in the same zoning. It would just be, I think there's a large enough parcel in there they could subdivide it platting wise.
But we said change the use, and I'm kind of stuck on that because change use to me means I'm going to go from housing to, farming, I don't know, something. So change use isn't going from 1 house to 5 houses. It's still housing. Am I getting too picky?
No, that's actually a good point. I probably used the wrong terminology. I was thinking changing use by increasing the density, but it's really not changing use. You're right.
No. I'm talking about actually change. So the other question I have, Eldon, is if the developer is paying for the infrastructure, who maintains the infrastructure?
Inside that, if it was a public plat, for example, you build a road in there of some sort, the city would maintain the actual mains inside it. If it's just a private extensions and service connections in there, it would be maintained by the owners.
Okay.
We have to see how, typically the county, when they have 2 lots, and say if this thing was subdivided into 2 lots, it would typically have like a private driveway of some sort in there, which would be, make the road private, and thereby any utilities behind it private. We would just have to see how they actually would attempt to potentially subdivide that if they so chose to do that.
Thanks.
So Eldon, I think you said this, but I just want to be clear. if we include all 14 acres in the water retail area, that means if the county allows them to short plat it, we can comment, but we don't have any ability to restrict the water to more than one home. We would have to take as many homes as the county approved. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think I'd have to check that density in there, but I think that is one parcel that's shown today. And if they have a allowance to where they could say short plat to 5 acre parcels, there would be the potential to put at least 2 lots instead of 1.
Right.
But they would have the right to actually build that second lot. We would certainly comment on just how they're getting water service to it. We have approved the retail water boundary if we included the full 14.5 acre site.
Right. Great.
But Eldon, if to do anything substantial, this would have to get put into the UGA, at which point we would be most likely providing the water service anyway. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep. That was kind of the key point on this one here in my mind, is the fact that it's a fairly large parcel, but they're still restricted by the zoning that's outside the UGA, which is part of the rural nature at this point in time. So,
Eldon, is that one of those UGA parcels that got approved initially and then rejected, but because they had already vested, they get to still stay in?
I think this one's a totally different one.
Okay.
It's just a new one here by itself.
Okay.
That is, now that you bring that up, that is how we got a lot of these areas in green that are outside that UGA boundary. Mm-hmm. That's exactly how those were put in there. They were based on prior commitments when a lot of these properties were at one time included in the UGA boundary. The boundary got overturned. We had prior commitments because we'd actually submitted comments to plats, and they were vested plats at that point in time before the boundary got changed.
Right. So
that is how we got a lot of the green that we're showing in here that's outside the UGA boundary.
All right. I'm assuming if we grant water to a parcel like this, that increases the market value of that parcel? Is that?
Yeah, I would certainly be assuming that.
Okay. Other questions? All right. I had told Eldon and Elizabeth that I didn't think we needed to go over the parcels that were within the UGA because I didn't see they were too controversial and we've heard about them before. But if somebody wants Eldon to go over any of the other ones, let him know and we'll do it. But seeing and hearing none, thank you for the continued education. I think this is my 4th or 5th cycle of these. I keep learning more. Thank you both. And
thank you.
Thank you.
And then just briefly under council requests, I included in our packet a waste to energy resolution. As you might know, we hired an outside law firm to request the Utilities and Transportation Commission to give us an advisory ruling on whether or not our waste to energy electricity can be sold in longer than 5-year increments to Avista. Avista's interpretation of the current law is that they can't enter into an agreement more than 5 years, and so the city is looking to that. So this basically supports that idea to get that ruling because it'll mean greater revenues from the sale of that power. Unfortunately, the whole market is going down, so it won't be greater revenues than we get today, but it'll be greater revenues next year than we would otherwise get. So it does have some language to request that we use those revenues to find alternative means of waste disposal, given some of the legislation at Olympia that's going to start putting penalties on us for the carbon emissions of the waste to energy plant. So these additional funds than we would otherwise get could be used to subsidize ratepayers essentially, so they wouldn't have to pay as much for the new system. So it's just a touch with council. It'll be coming on our legislative agenda at some point. Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, just a question. So if we're going to be generating less revenue, more than we would, but less revenue, and don't we already have a bit of a deficit in our utility fund? So I'm just wondering if we're putting those dollars into this sort of R&D or investing in some alternatives, is that going to increase the deficit that we're dealing with right now?
I haven't gotten that analysis, but these power sales, if I understand them correctly, are not built in as the cost driver. It's like extra money that comes out. So essentially the ratepayers are getting a subsidy right now because we're able to sell power. And what we would use, if we get any extra revenues than we otherwise, we would use it in a way so that we wouldn't have to pay penalties, which would otherwise get passed on to the ratepayers. So it's, I think, from a long-term perspective, it's not, but with a short term, it might be. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we build the power revenues into the budget. So we maintain the rates based on all the revenues that we get, so including, what the ratepayers give us plus the power to balance the solid waste budget. We do have to manage potentially what's coming down through the Climate Commitment Act that was passed this legislative session, and we anticipate some sort of charge per ton of CO2e that's non-biogenic. We're going to have to start looking at that regardless. If we're able to get a 15-year PPE, we stop some of the bleeding on the power contract, because that those 5-year contracts we anticipate being lower over time as a result of how the market is changing.
Yep. Any other questions? All right. All right. We're going to get to you soon, Kevin. But first, we have Elizabeth Shadle and Steve Burns on the Water Service Fees Ordinance Amendment to do a little cleanup from last year. And then we're also going to cover the odd-even watering resolution. And then we'll get to Kevin on streets.
Yeah, so this is just a code cleanup and housekeeping. We overlooked removal of some of the water service fees last year when we updated the water rate schedule. At that time, if you'll recall, we pulled a lot of the fees out and put them in a public rule in order to be more contemporaneous. Activities, and we forgot a couple. So we're cleaning this up to remove those overlooked items and to update them. As you can see, when you look through that, there's a number of references back to the public rule because those fees are now included elsewhere that's already been adopted by the city. We're also asking that this be declared an emergency so it can go into effect immediately in order to minimize or mitigate the controversy or the inaccuracies, I guess.
Right.
Any questions?
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And then Marlene, I'm not sure if we got the final version of, or the latest version of the watering resolution, but the latest one includes odd-even watering based on your address, and it's not even asking necessarily to water less. It's just doing odd-even. That keeps our capital capacities down and is better for the plants. And then also, on the latest version, Marlene inserted a request for people to water between 6 p.m. and 10 a.m. so that we're not watering during high evaporation during the day. I had a couple other changes I want to put in to make it clear that the mayor is requesting this of council and the community, but I haven't gotten that together yet. So there'll be another draft at some point that I'll share with Marlene. But Marlene, if you want to talk about maybe the utility insert that's printed and getting ready and the public information campaign.
Yeah, so obviously we're getting right into summer season right now. So we do have a utility bill insert going in June. One side includes our water quality information, so that consumer confidence report that we're required to talk about with our citizens annually. So that is one side of the utility bill insert, and the other side focuses on this concept that we are asking council to consider in terms of this odd even watering days, where those with odd numbered addresses would water on odd numbered days and even numbered addresses would water on even numbered days, which, as we've talked about already in the past, includes a number of benefits for our community and for our water system. Of course, it does help the customer themselves with lowering their bills if they can water less over the summer months. And remember, we did change that residential water use tier structure last fall. So there's even more incentive for people to make those choices. It helps with your landscape health, growing down the root system so that you have landscaping that's more resilient in the summer, the hottest part of the summer, the driest part of the summer. It also protects those resources that are so important to us, the aquifer and the Spokane River, which of course exchange water. So there's that. And then long term, it does help. If we can get people to adopt strategies that use less water over time, we can reduce the amount of money we spend making capital investments in the system that allow for greater capacity. So all these things work together. Timing wise, now's the time to make some of those changes. So we're going into an entire education period where we'll talk about our rebates again, of course, over the summer. We'll talk about Spokanescape. We're going to use parks as an example for that odd even watering structure, so that people will start to see us model our own behavior, or our own suggested behavior. I think that's pretty much it, Council President, unless you have anybody have any questions?
No. Councilmember Kinnear.
I applaud you. I think it's a great idea, Marlene. My only request would be to think about making some provision for people who are growing food. So if your landscape is not just ornamental, that there is something in the flyer that would exempt food from that the every other day watering. And I don't know how to do it. I'm just throwing it out there for thought.
Yeah, so we could probably include something in the whereas. I could draft something, work with our water folks to talk about that. The other important exemption, of course, is sometimes new plants that might need water getting established. So those, we could certainly include that. Remember, this is a voluntary request, and it's really about overall landscape health, not necessarily your tomato plants, but who don't take a ton of water on a day-to-day basis anyway. But it's really about, watering your grass where you can have some significant savings.
Yep. Great. All right. Thanks, Marlene. And please give our best to your team who's been working so hard on water conservation. All right. Kevin Picanza, we've been waiting for you. Update on the 6-year program that's formally coming forward.
Yes. Thank you. Good afternoon, Council President and Council members. I'll share my screen. Should be seeing that now.
Yep.
Again, good afternoon. Kevin Picanza, Integrated Capital Management, presenting on our 6-year comprehensive street program update for 2022 to 2027. First, just background, kind of high clip. Our 6-year program, or 6-year streets program specifically, is where we implement the goals and objectives contained in the Chapter 4 transportation of the comprehensive plan. Once projects are in the 6-year program, we can proceed further with scoping and defining those projects, identifying and seeking funding, turning them over to design, ultimately leading to construction. Now, we're required by state law to update our 6-year street program annually, and that's required to be done by July 1st of each year. That's why it follows a slightly different schedule and timeline than our overall citywide program. And updates each year include new projects coming in as well as completed and removed projects coming out of the program. The focus today is really on kind of the additions to the program this year. I'll dive deeper into each of these projects in a second with some graphics. Just as a high clip overview, again, the first 3 projects identified here are City Council requested projects, 44th Avenue, Strong, and Boone Avenue. Fourth project there is the grant award through Bike Ped Safety Program called the Highway Safety Improvement Program for installation of pedestrian hybrid beacons on Division Street at 3 different locations. The fifth new project this year is a PDA requested project from UDRA for 1 block of Riverside Avenue. And then last but not least is what we refer to kind of as an honorable mention project. This isn't a truly new project. It was formerly included elsewhere from a programmatic perspective in the TBD sidewalk program, and it's being separated out as its own project, and that's the Driscoll Alberta Cochrane sidewalk project. So specifically, this map kind of gives you a quick visual of where the new projects are. To the north, Strong Road, the 3 Division Street locations, the Boone Protected Bike Lane, the 1 block on Riverside, and then the 44th Avenue project to the south. So specifically on each of these projects here, so 44th Avenue, this is kind of a unique project. This was a council requested project. It was also already on the unpaved street program list and one of the higher ranking projects. We decided to pull that out of the unpaved program for a variety of reasons. This project is designated as a future arterial. It's also included for partial funding on our traffic impact fee program. So we're pulling this project out of the unpaved program as a separate standalone project. That roadway section needs to be built to an arterial standard. And as part of this project, we're going to look to do some additional improvements, including frontage improvements along the northerly side of the road, most likely, curb, drainage, sidewalks to address pedestrian need through this area. And then we'll also look to stripe bike lanes as 44th Avenue is designated as a bike route. I'll point out while I'm on this slide, you can see to the south, there are 2 larger parcels that today, both those parcels are, candidates down the road for potential infill development. So the idea would be with this project, as I mentioned earlier, frontage improvements along the northerly side of the street and the frontage improvements on the south side could theoretically get built if and when those projects come forward with some sort of infill development or redevelopment in the future. Next project is Strong Road. This is a traditional rebuild project. What's out there today, many of you know, is more of a county type road. This project would perform a complete reconstruction of Strong Road from 5 Mile to Austin, including curb, drainage, sidewalk, and bike facilities as well. Third project is a Boone Avenue Protected Bike Lane. This project, of course, is near the arena and the other public facilities in that vicinity, from Howard Street east using Atlantic, jogging north to Sharp, and ending at Ruby Street. The first phase of this project will be a planning phase or planning effort. Many of you are aware, of course, of all the activity going on in this area. We have the indoor sports facility, of course, the existing arena, the civic theater, and now lately or recently the planned new school district facility downtown as well. So with that, there's clearly a lot of public outreach that's going to be needed. We need to bring public facilities district into the discussion, our own police staff that do some of the special event traffic. We need to reach out to the businesses that are affected by the potential improvements along the corridor. So there'll be a robust public outreach and planning effort that we anticipate for this project coming forward soon.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
Kevin, have the conversations with the PFD to possibly use a little bit of that for the bike lane progressed at all? Do you know, in order to keep that as a 2-lane, especially with that stadium there?
We have not initiated any talks yet. We're envisioning kind of getting started with a planning effort probably more first of 2022 on the project. So that's where we'd reach out.
Okay.
Councilmember Cathcart, I did talked a lot with the school district at our last meeting with them that we need to create right-of-way, and it's easier. I mean, the nice thing about that stadium construction is all of that we can, in my mind, we could put a 2-way cycle track on the south side of Boone and not interfere with those lanes as long as we get that planning while they're doing the stadium. So I think there is a good opportunity of that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So moving on, our fourth project is the Division Street pedestrian hybrid beacons. The graphics I have here are from our grant application. It's 3 different locations. First, a division in Longfellow. All these projects would incorporate Hawk signals, which is more of the trade name, but that's what most folks are familiar with, is Hawk signals and pedestrian crossing improvements. At Longfellow also happens to be designated as a planned greenway, so we look to do some enhanced crossing improvements at that location, in addition to the Hawk signal. Second location is a division in Everett Avenue, near Franklin Park. Again, Hawk signal and pedestrian crossing improvements. And the third location is to the north at Rhodes. It's north of Francis Avenue. Again, similar scope of work, Hawk signal, some median modifications, and pedestrian crossing improvements there as well. Fifth project here is Riverside Avenue. This is one block stretch of Riverside Avenue, really completing the roadway network on that south side of the U District Bridge near the Catalyst building. This project is, this photo is fairly recent, but it doesn't quite show the new construction going on today here at Riverside and Grant to the west end. We have, of course, Sprague Avenue. Another third phase of Sprague Avenue is under construction as we speak. Sherman Plaza was constructed a couple years ago. So this project, again, was requested and brought forward by UDRA, and it would complete this final block of roadway. You are familiar or aware there's an MOU in place defining the funding for this project as well. And then finally, this is, again, what we refer to as our honorable mention project. It was a project that was already in our program elsewhere, but we're separating it out as its own standalone capital improvement project. So this project will accomplish infill sidewalk on Alberta, Cochrane, and Driscoll, in the area highlighted here in red, with the exception of some very small segments of existing sidewalk. Almost this entire limits of work on both sides of the street are absent sidewalk. And of course, it's in close proximity to Finch Elementary as well as Audubon Park. So it's a really good project. It's a transit route as well. Really a heavily needed corridor in terms of sidewalk improvements. We'll update ADA ramps where needed and accomplish a handful of other improvements as part of this project. Another kind of element of this that's detached from the remainder of the work is a pedestrian crossing improvement at the southeast corner of the park across Northwest Boulevard. That improvement would install an RRFB as well as some pedestrian crossing improvements, new ADA ramps, and some restriping of the roadway through there. So that highlights the new projects going into the program. This here is just a real brief summary of some of the changes. 11 projects in total removed or completed that we come out of the program. We have the 5 truly new projects that I alluded to earlier. The value of projects coming out versus new projects coming in are that $19 million and $8 million shown there. And just the overall program value of our capital program for that 2022 to 27 period is $162 million. And then finally, I just wanted to kind of summarize and highlight kind of the various touches that we've had with the update of the streets program this year. Back in February, we were starting off with multiple touches with the PCTS, Plan Commission, and BAB. We had our earlier study sessions in late February and early March. We had the more formal process with the PCTS on March 2nd and April 6th, where they made a recommendation of consistency with our comp plan goals. And the Plan Commission process, the workshop in April, action through a public hearing taken earlier this month on the 12th. Here we are today on May 24th. I'll be presenting to the Community Assembly early June. And then the significant or big next step or important next step, of course, is June 21st with the planned public hearing and adoption of the program.
Awesome.
So with that, I open up to any questions you may have.
Any questions for Kevin? All right. Well, I thought things went much smoother this year, so thanks for your work on that, Kevin. And I feel like we had a much better sense of what was going on, and let's just continue forward. So thanks for waiting.
Great, thank you.
Wait until the end of the meeting to do that. We are going to finish our meeting a little bit early despite quite a large agenda. But unless there's anything for the good of the order, I'm going to wrap up today's PIES meeting. We are going to have briefing and legislative session at 3:30. Should still be pretty small since we're taking the next Monday off. But we are going to allow, if anyone requests, public comment on the couple of items that we have on our legislative agenda and open forum. And signups for that are now open from 2:30 to 3:30 for people in the public who want to sign up for that. And with that, Councilmember Wilkerson.
I'm sorry, did I miss the emergency supplemental water agreement to Airway Heights?
You did not.
Brief that, or?
You did not miss it, but they requested to present at another time.
Okay.
It'll be at Public Safety on June 7th. So, but thanks for, I should have mentioned that. Thanks for raising that. Any other things for the good of the order? All right, we're adjourned. We'll see you at 3:30.